So guys, today we are reviewing this. It is the Orange Whip Wedge. So guys, today we are reviewing the Orange Whip Wedge. So this was designed in conjunction with Stan Utley. It's got a very nice head-shaped design, which is good, and counterweight at the top, and then a very bendy shaft. So, get your head out the gutter. Right, so what we're gonna do is have a look at how good this is and what it's actually really good for. It says that it's kind of 30 yards in its design for, okay? I tried it about 50, 60, okay? And found that one thing it was good for, okay, is really good for if you overload a golf shaft and you come down way too much with your arms or you get quite flippy. So when I'm talking about overloading the golf shaft, I'm talking about driving it in like this. You can just see how vigorously this is kind of whipping in. So because of that, it's really going to change the direction of the sweet spot, change the loft. It's going to be quite awkward. So I think this is good, really good from that standpoint. I obviously have used the Orange Whip myself, the short one for pitching. And if you've seen any of my videos before, I talk about how good it is for pacing. So I thought this would be a really good fit for me to see how good it is from a pacing standpoint. So what I talk about there is like at the 30, 40 yarder, you talk about going back here and kind of trying to pace the arms, the body and the club and not overload the shaft too much, okay? So if we're hitting like pitch shots with this, okay, my only downside, first off, is hitting shots is if it gets a little bit warm, the grip's a little bit slippy. So just make sure you've got like a towel with you and kind of dry it a little bit, just because I'm hitting a little bit here. My hands are genuinely not that sweaty, but it's a little bit slippy, okay? So from that standpoint, it's not amazing, but it's all right, okay? So hitting like a short kind of 30-yard kind of pitch shot here, kind of going like halfway back and then trying to get the body to move on the way through. Now, that wasn't a bad shot, kind of came out okay. It's always going to come out a little bit lower, okay, for me anyway, okay, because it's going to drive that shaft in just a little bit. And if the shaft drives in a touch, it's just because it's so flexible, it's going to come out with a bit less loft on it, okay. What I find super interesting is, having hit a few with it, is anytime I get a little slightly out of kind of sequence with it, okay, I tend to hit some real poor strikes, kind of getting it thin. So if I drive this in, obviously the leading edge doesn't get down to the ground and it just thins really badly. That's the bad one. And if your body doesn't move with it because you're not pacing everything together and you're over kind of putting too much speed through the hands, the shaft will just be so wobbly that it's really difficult to get a contact. So again, I'm just going to try one more, kind of just get the feeling of arms, body, club moving back and through together, kind of halfway back, turn through. That was miles better strike. It's gone a lot higher. So what that tells me is, having seen that, the first one, I must have very slightly just driven my arms in transition, which is giving it that lower flight. That was absolutely fantastic. It's probably gone, I would think, 40, 45 yards in the air. So I would think that'd be its limit. What you can obviously do is you can then go from using that club, getting the feel of the pacing of everything, kind of get your own club out again after it, which will feel really weird and quite light and strange. So actually I'm just gonna have a little kind of feel of it, get everything back and through together, kind of get that pacing back, pacing through. Okay, and that gives, you know, that's not a bad shot right there, kind of gone up towards the flag, kind of 40, 45 yardish. Here's where I think it's fantastic though, okay? I think it's a bit limited. I don't think you could play using the bounce a lot, because I just think that how flexible the shaft is, it's kind of not going to be great for that. But from a chipping standpoint, if you get very handsy and flicky, it's great. So hit a little chip shot here. It's only going to go about 3-4 yards, kind of really near. Okay, and that wasn't bad, but I can feel it really lagging in. So for me, that one, I must have been just kind of using the arms a little bit too much. Okay, let's try it again. A little short chip back. So there, that's thinned along the floor. Now, what that is every time those hands go like this and get a little bit active, the shaft flicks through. So from that standpoint for chipping, if you get a little bit too handsy and you flick it a lot, it could be great, okay? I'm not saying I don't want you to release the hands here when you're chipping, I 100% do. But this, if you're very armsy driven and have no pivot at all and don't match, it could be pretty good. I'm gonna actually try one here. of just kind of opening the face just a little and see what it's like. Kind of got the face a little bit more open there. Just playing a short little chip shot kind of there. So for that one, I don't think you could use it. Genuinely for a short one. I tried that. That's a shot I'm actually pretty good at playing, but because of the way that I played the shot, okay, it went right, okay, so I was definitely overloading it. I really like it from kind of the pitching standpoint of the matching. Chipping, I'm yet to decide whether I really like it for chipping, to be really, really honest. It's good, but from a pitching standpoint, again, everything paced back and paced through together. I think it's absolutely fantastic. And if you are really handsy around the green and have no pivot and thin air, this will make you thin it, and then you can actually start to use your body. So from that standpoint, it could be great, but it's not for every shot you play around the greens, but it is great for your pitching. So guys, hopefully you enjoyed that review. There's some things in there that I think this aid is really, really good for. So obviously I will use this in my coaching 100% definitely. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Any comments below are always welcome. What would you like to see reviewed, or what would you like to see in videos going forward? Thanks for watching, and talk with you again very soon.